Now, one of the big impacts of President Donald Trump's war on the federal government is the funding of green energy projects, which has basically come to a standstill. In Maine, for example, electricians were previously seeing a boom in renewable energy jobs because of all this renewable energy funding. But thanks to Donald Trump now and the Republicans, these same workers have been facing a devastating wave of layoffs. Many of these jobs, of course, that were part of this boom can be traced back to the Inflation Reduction Act, which was the largest federal investment in renewable energy in U.S. history. It was signed by Joe Biden back in August of 2022. And what it did is provide a lot of tax credits, grants, and loans for renewable energy projects in red states, a lot of red states anyway. And, for things like wind and solar, okay? Things that Trump doesn't like, okay? Now, that investment, of course, created a boom in demand for electricians, construction workers, real blue-collar folks, right? They were able to leverage their newfound bargaining power from being able to do all these jobs, right? Being in such high-end demand to be able to, get higher wages and better job opportunities. Awesome, right? That's great. Except, once again, the Republicans didn't think so. Now, let me give you an example here. Scott Cuddy, a longtime electrician at IBEW 1253, told More Perfect Union, this was back in July, so back during the summer, that the rate for a union electrician is currently around $39 an hour. In 2020, we were about $29 to $30 an hour. So, yeah, over the past, few years, $5 increase. Pretty good per hour. He said, we've seen an enormous increase in the wages for the people doing the work, and that's because when you have work to do, you get that bargaining power. That said, since Trump got back in office, you've had a massive amount of layoffs, okay? As a result of killing about $24 billion in private clean energy investments. That's right. They have been scrapped or scaled back, which impacted about 20,000 jobs. A lot of jobs. Now, in addition, the U.S. Department of Energy canceled about nearly $8 billion in federal grant awards for hundreds of these green energy projects. Now, again, the irony here is that these cuts are primarily affecting projects in states that voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, that's the irony, right? Again, Biden tried to bring high-paying jobs and economic opportunity using clean energy to red states, only to have those voters in those states that are benefiting from this stab him in the back and vote for Donald Trump, who then is like, I'm going to get rid of all of these things. Great. Wonderful. God. In fact, here is Cuddy speaking to More Perfect Union, saying, quote, they love to have the guys standing behind them in the hard hats when they have a press conference. But when it comes to doing the actual policy that will actually help us, well, we have that policy in place right now. It's called the Inflation Reduction Act. It helped bring more people into the skilled trades, and it helped us get paid more. And this is across the board. Well, again, that is until now. Okay. Again, Trump gets into power, and he says to these green energy jobs,
bing, 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 boom, it's gone.
Gone. And of course, you end up having people like apprentice electrician Brayden House, who suffer as a result of it. He spoke to More Perfect Union as well, saying, when I voted for Trump, my big thing was I agreed with his stance on immigration. Yikes. I agreed with his idea of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. I liked his stance on no new wars. And now we're seeing the exact opposite happen. Oh, are you saying that you are having the day you voted for? Yes, I believe you. I believe you are. Now, look, Trump, of course, is a liar. He lies all the time, constantly, even for a politician. The amount of lies that comes out of his mouth is absolutely astounding, all right? Over 30,000 just in his first term alone. And yet, you still believed him when he said he was going to do good things. you still bought it, and now we're all paying the price. Brayden happened to have been laid off along with about 65 other apprentice electricians. Okay. And there was about a total of 100 workers just in Maine that were laid off. Again, electricians. And of course, there's about 20,000, or actually around 16,000 nationwide, I believe, if not more. Also that Trump could own the libs. Also because he hates windmills. I mean, you ever hear him talk about windmills? Disastrous. Ridiculous. Now, on that, Brayden said this of Trump, quote, "He's cutting the things that Joe Biden did that made labor so good. And in the name of, I don't like Joe Biden, so I don't want to stand for anything he stood for." But you shouldn't be cutting something that your predecessor did that was good because he's your predecessor. You should continue to build on the good things he did. If it's creating jobs, if it's boosting the economy, why get rid of that? Well, it's because Trump doesn't care about helping you. He doesn't care that eliminating these projects across the country is, yes, getting rid of jobs, but it's also increasing the cost of energy all across the country. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care that his investments in AI, which he is making a lot of money off of now, are also going to increase the cost of energy by sucking it all up. Voters care. The voters actually care a lot about their energy bills. All right. In fact, just recently in this election on Tuesday, okay, you had a lot of people in a lot of these states decide, yeah, we're going to vote on affordability, and that means we're voting for Democrats. Now, let me give you some stats here before I get to that. In New Jersey, which saw a massive Democratic win on Tuesday, residents saw a 22.21% increase in their energy costs between July 2024 and 2025. Virginians, another place where Democrats dominated, saw an average 11.25% increase in their utility bills since last year. And in Georgia, Georgians using the largest utility provider in the state saw their bills increase about $518 in each of the last 2 years. Democrats, they took advantage of that and they won. Mickey Sherrill, for example, in New Jersey, made lowering energy prices central to her campaign, while her opponent sat and attacked clean energy. In Virginia, Abigail Spanberger centered energy affordability in her campaign for governor, combining her own plan to tackle rising energy costs with direct attack on Trump's clean energy cuts, while Winsome Earl Sears, her opponent, parroted Trump's attacks on clean energy. And in Georgia, for the first time in about 20 years, 2 Democratic candidates will hold seats on the Public Service Commission. That commission regulates utilities and dictates how to meet energy demand. The 2 Democratic candidates, Peter Hubbard and Alicia Johnson, had challenged the Republican incumbents by aggressively highlighting the rising energy cost crisis under state Republicans and pledged to increase clean energy funding. The lesson here is that, yes, clean energy actually helps lower costs, lower energy prices, because it's more energy. Okay. And the other lesson here, of course, is that you have people like Brayden who foolishly voted against their own best interests for a man who didn't give a damn about them. They ended up hurting themselves, hurting the environment, the economy, as well as our standing in the world. And now they realize it. Okay. So, look, we still, unfortunately, have 3 years left of this disastrous regime. And who knows how much more damage? Because look at all the damage that he has done so far in just a year. Got 3 years more left of this. And so, who knows how much damage and how much time we are going to have to spend cleaning up this disastrous mess that Trump and his voters got us into. It is not going to be fun. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.